All right, we're talking to JP Ricciardi. He is the host of the podcast, The Brushback. He is a man of baseball. He spent 8 years as the GM of the Toronto Blue Jays, had many different positions in the front office, a scout, a coach. And JP, thanks for taking the time again today. We appreciate it.
No, always great to be on with you, Mike.
So we're up against the trade deadline here. I know we spoke about it a little bit a few weeks ago, but now that it's happening in less than a week and that the Red Sox have been, well, before the All-Star break anyway, on a tear, and they're in the wild card, they're 6 games back from Baltimore. Should they try to get players to help them now, or should they just continue to invest in the future of the team?
Well, I think, the Teals and the Anthonys and the Myers, they're not going to move those guys, and they shouldn't. I mean, they're a very vital part of what they're going to do down the road. But they have some smaller pieces that would help other clubs that I think that they could move, that would help them on a smaller basis. I don't see the Red Sox doing anything major. I think they've got a really good club, a club that can make the playoffs with a couple of small additions. You could always use more pitching, whether it's a starter or bullpen help. I think they could use another infielder that's probably a little bit more suited to playing second base, maybe second and short. Not this player, but someone like a Kiki Hernandez that could play a few positions and take the pressure off some of those guys that are starting to play a lot more innings than they've ever played. I think you're seeing a little bit of the shine come off some of those guys they're good players, but, they're being exposed a little bit. And if you could take a little pressure off them and enable other guys to take that load off, I think that would be the way to go. So I think they're definitely going to add. I think it's going to be a minor piece, and I think they're still in a good spot. There's so many teams that are in the playoff race. It's really going to come down to who continues to stay healthy, who continues to play well, and maybe who makes that one or two moves that puts them in a position on the plus side.
So don't expect any blockbuster moves here.
I would be shocked if there's a blockbuster. You have to remember, you're only 6 days away from the trading deadline, which it's kind of surprising that nothing's been done so far. And so with that being said, I'm real curious as to how hot and heavy this trading deadline is going to be. It usually picks up around those last few days, starting Sunday, Monday, but right now it's been a very quiet trading deadline.
And then I wanted to talk to you. I don't know if you watched yesterday's Rockies Sox game with the Rockies, 20-7. The Sox just took a beating. I watched the whole game. After it was like 10-4, I said, I'm just going to keep watching out of morbid curiosity. I just wanted to see how many runs the Rockies could score. In your experience, at that point, do you say anything at that level? Do you say anything to the team? There were some bobbles out there in defense. Do you have to say anything to the team at that level?
No, they know they didn't play well. And listen, it's Colorado. Colorado is always a pinball game when you go there. I'll tell you, the flip side of Colorado, we went in there on a 3-game series once, and we were the only team never to hit a home run in three games. It's impossible not to hit a home run in Colorado, and we did it. So that place is a house of horrors in so many ways, and that it can get away from you. I mean, there's no lead that's safe. I think knowing Cora the way he is, he probably says, guys, get on a plane, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Those games happen. It doesn't happen often, but I think the Mets scored 12 runs last night. I think the Padres scored a ton of runs last night. So, it happens. And in Colorado, of all places, it's a house of horrors. So I'm sure they're glad to be getting out of there.
All right, JP Ricciardi, thank you for your time. He's host of the podcast, The Brushback. And who do you have a guest on your latest episode?
We just had a bunch of good guests. We had Tim Kirkchin. We had Mike Bordick, a guy I actually signed and played 15 years in the big leagues at shortstop. He was outstanding. We just had JP Morosi, national writer and reporter for Fox. And next week we're having the Hall of Famer Peter Gammons on. So we've got a run of some really good guests that we're happy to get on, and I think it'd be great listening for the fans. So appreciate you talking about the show and appreciate you having me on.